I started my CISA preparation by following the order of domains you suggested, domain 2, 1, 4, 3, and 5. And I am also someone who prefers taking detailed notes rather than just jotting down a few pointers. My goal was to create comprehensive notes that I could not only use for revision but also keep as a future reference even after completing the certification. So, whenever I used to try switching companies, the only thing I saw in the job description was CISA mandatory. For a few of them, they mention it openly, saying that CISA is required and it is good to have CISA. I used to think that this might be the right answer, but it was different. I mean, to understand the ISACA perspective and solve questions as per the ISACA perspective, it took me some good, quite amount of time in my whole preparation.
Hello everyone, welcome to CISA This Much. This is Aditya and today we have with us Alekhya. She has recently qualified CISA. Alekhya, first of all, heartiest congratulations for qualifying CISA in the first attempt. Before we ask you any other question, how does it feel qualifying CISA? Especially in the first attempt.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for creating the course for CISA. It is not easy to explain all the concepts clearly to keep updating the course whenever new amendments are released, and also the mock videos and mock tests are very helpful. One of my seniors at work suggested me with your course, so I'm glad that I found your course. And coming to the CISA, it was never one of my long-term goals also, but due to my seniors' motivation, I tried to attempt it. But it was always a tough journey. I doubted myself a lot throughout the journey, but with your constant support, and you were always available whenever required. And you also asked me to concentrate more on mock videos, blockbuster series, and mock tests, which I initially didn't do. So, based on your suggestion, I postponed my exam and took some time to do all of those, which actually helped me score better in my CISA exam.
Awesome. I'm really glad that everything has worked for you and you were able to make it in the first attempt. So can you please introduce yourself, your background, and what made you choose this certification, CISA? There are so many IT certifications in the market, right? But when it comes to doing IS audit, we don't have many certifications, but when it comes to IT, there are many IT certifications. So what was the journey, and what made you decide this path?
So coming to my background, I completed my BTech in civil engineering and started my career at TCS through campus placements. Initially, I worked as a developer, but I realized it wasn't the right fit for me coming from a civil background. So I spoke to my then manager who understood my situation and helped me transition to ITGC testing. And I really enjoyed this role and decided to build my career in this field. So later I moved to PwC and currently I'm working at KPMG as an assistant manager, working as an IT auditor. So after starting my career as an IT auditor, it motivated me a lot to do some or the other certification to so that it helps me stay current with the latest technologies. And I thought of initially studying for ISO 27001 certification, but later my seniors who already did CISA and the whole IT audit team knows what CISA certification were for. So they motivated me to do this certification and they told me that this would be a great benefit for your career. So that's the reason I took CISA.
All right. Thanks for a detailed introduction and your background. So I have one question here. So since you mentioned that you are working in TCS, so that time, okay. Now this IS audit and this GRC, department as such altogether. So this was not in the high picture. Like if we go like 10 years back, but after lockdown, there were a lot of vacancies, lot of job openings came here, especially especially in IT, across big fours, not just big fours, but even in VC and MNCs as well. So when you were working in TCS, like, did you know already that okay, there is a field like IT audit, and I can make a career here, or was it like, someone advised you, okay, no, why don't you try here? You can build a career here. This will be having a good future. Because a lot of people I see working in IT companies, they are not aware about it, especially people from IT background. So they know the traditional IT roles, which is like software developers, and their understanding and their knowledge about the different opportunities which they have is very limited. So as such, what I have seen is that there is very lack of awareness in the market. Even right now also, like nowadays also, when I see a lot of IT professionals, they don't even know that there is a field existing, which is like IS audit and compliance, GRC and roles. So they are not aware about it. So like, how did you got to know about about this field?
So, as I said, I got placed in TCS, and initially they put me in a development project. And after that, I tried my best to, understand and learn how coding and all this works. But later, I was not very much interested because it was not my forte from the beginning of my BTech. So I requested my manager to see if there is a possibility to put me in a different project, and he actually guided me with ITGC. He told me that there is something called as ITGC, and he gave me a basic picture of what it is and asked me to prepare for the basics so that I can attend interview. And in one such interviews, client liked my skills. The basic things that I learned for that particular interview. So later they recruited me for their project, and after getting into the project, they were very kind enough to teach me from the basics. They used to train me for 2 hours per day. I don't know which client takes that much effort to train you and bring you to the form. So they trained me for 2 hours a day, like that for one complete month. They trained me, and I started liking the work more and more. There, we used to test very basic controls like change management, access management. So, after a point, it became very routine. I did not like working on that anymore. And so I tried looking out for other opportunities. Then I got PwC, but in PwC, I initially started with Workday. So it again took a different direction from what I was doing in TCS. So after that, I completed my Workday certification as well in PwC. But then I understood that I always wanted to be in ITGC, not the one that I did in TCS, but something of level up. So then I started looking out for opportunities again from PwC. Then I got to know about this opportunity at KPMG where they are looking for IT auditor skill set. So the controls that I learned in TCS were just ITGCs. So now I leveled up the game and I took some courses from Udemy and got to know more about what IT audit is from the basics. So that way I cracked interview at KPMG. And now I'm working with a client who majorly focuses on IT audit, and they also take care of all the technologies like using AI in our daily work. We almost use for user access testing, for vendor management testing, and for a lot of controls, we use AI now. So I'm glad that I found that project. And because of my TCS manager, I got to know about this.
Yeah. So great to know about how you got to know about this path, and also the way you just not you are not in just one company, you are not stuck in
Yeah.
one company, you just try to level up the game, as you mentioned, in every organization. And so one thing I want to ask here. So okay, now maybe things are different now, and maybe it was different when you got here. So what do you see the market nowadays like? Do you advise, or do you see in the market that employers now look for people who are who have given this exam, CISA exam, they are CISA qualified? uh, I won't say certified, because for certification you need experience, right? So I would say, you have cleared the exam. The person has cleared the exam. So those people who have cleared this, do they have more chances, getting here, or is it like, still, there are a lot of opportunities wherein people can, check whether they like this, department, this work process, and then decide whether to go for any certifications like CISA, because I'm sure, so in your case also, you have taken enough experience, and then you decided, okay, now I like this field and I can make a career here, and let me go for traditional certifications, which can help me boost my career here. So do you recommend this same path to people who are looking for doing CISA, or who are looking for working here in IS audit, or will you recommend, okay, they can give the exam, they can understand the entire, what will be their job role, and the entire work process, and then they can, because again, I don't know, you are in the best position to guide us about what exactly is working now, whether do we have advantage as a qualified person, or is it like we can still get opportunity to work here, and then can decide, whether to go or not for the certification.
So, whenever I used to try switching companies, the only thing I saw in the job description was CISA mandatory. For a few of them, they mention it openly, saying that CISA is required and it is good to have CISA. So at that time, I didn't even knew what CISA was, and I just simply applied. But I always thought that I should have done this very much earlier in my career. Now I completed 5 years of my experience in this IT career, but it is still soon in my career. I don't feel that I did much. I delayed this certification. But I suggest everybody to consider this certification because it gives you the knowledge that you need for auditing. So, in my current role, if I have not done CISA, I would have not known the importance of audit committee, what the corporate audit executive does, and what are the different roles, and what kind of auditing skills an auditor should have. How should they proceed? I mean, understand a problem. How should they prepare a report? For example, if you have a conflict with management or the client that you're doing IT audit with, you should first understand if you should report that as an issue in the audit report or not. If there is a conflict, how to resolve that conflict with the client, how to make them understand about the issue that is existing in their environment. All these skills you can learn from CISA certification. Now, I mean, since I didn't knew the importance earlier, or I did not have the guts to do CISA, I just continued working as an IT auditor. But after getting to know what CISA has and what it has to give to the IT auditors, I feel that I should have done it earlier so that by now I could have improved my skills a lot better as an IT auditor.
Yeah, I agree. And now you also know the entire picture, right? Like
Yeah.
now, for example, you have done domain 2, you understand how IT and business are interlinked, because many people, when they're working, they don't know the bigger picture, like, their work, how does it impact the entire company as such, what's their role, because knowing what's your responsibility, it's just one aspect, but knowing the bigger picture of it, to understand, how IT and business, and why do we even need audit, what's compliance and everything, so now when you know the entire picture, you are in a better position to understand, each and everything. And I think that comes when you do, these certifications, because I don't think so there is any way to understand everything, in a short span of time with just gaining the experience. Again, experience has its own values, but then when you do certifications along with it, you are like you become a complete auditor.
Yes.
This is what I feel. And do you also feel that, whatever work you used to do, your experience has helped you in your CISA, or is it like, some people, again, there is mixed opinion here. Some people say since I was knowing, a lot of things because of my experience, when it comes to solving the question, there are times when the answers expected from Isaka doesn't match with what I was doing, in my work. So was there a clash in your case, or was it like, no, this is something which I would have done, and this is something the answer is. So what was the thing in your case?
Yeah, I also had always this conflict while answering the QA questions. I used to think that this might be the right answer, but it was different. I mean, to understand the ISACA perspective and solve questions as per the ISACA perspective, it took me some good, quite amount of time in my whole preparation for CISA. And I should say that it actually, the work experience that I had as an IT auditor definitely helped me in understanding the CISA concepts, because I could relate everything that was happening in my work to these concepts and understand it more better. I used to also go through my work papers that I did in my audits and try to link it with the concepts that CISA has. And I used to also remember all the teammates that I had, the corporate audit executive, what were his roles and responsibilities. And it was always back and forth. From the CISA, I used to link it to the work environment, and from the work environment, I used to bring some things and link it to the concept that I was preparing. So, yeah, my work experience definitely helped me to crack CISA.
Great to know about that. And since you were working in Big Four, so how difficult was it for you to, manage time? Because this question is also a very famous question, because many people, especially, when they are working professional, they are not able to allot time for these exams. And what I have seen is that, regardless of how much knowledge, how much experience you have, the only thing, one thing which can make you pass this exam with 100% guarantee is that you being consistent, you follow the revision schedule. Because I have never seen anybody failing in this exam if that person has that person was studying consistently, he did 100%, he did revision, he practiced the question answers, he basically to do everything in the right manner, like it's not just about like when people ask me this question that how to crack this exam, so my answer normally is like, the way you will crack any other exam, the way you will crack MBA, the way you will crack any other entrance exam for that matter, anything, it's the same methods you have to follow here. There is no shortcuts here. But then why this question comes is because you are working professional, you are not able to allot that much time which you would have given for your academic qualifications, because that time your focus was just one thing, but here you have multiple focuses. So what was your strategy like? Were you studying on a daily basis? If yes, like how was your timetable overall, like like especially during the weekdays? Because weekends, yes, I know people are able to get time, but especially the like, this is what I feel, that the entire game changer is how do you manage your time, especially during the weekdays. So if you can guide us about that.
Yeah, sure. So I work in a 2 to 11 shift. My work starts from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I started my preparation in the month of May and gave my exam in the month of August. So I took 4 months to complete CISA. I started my CISA preparation by following the order of domains you suggested, domain 2, 1, 4, 3, and 5. And I am also someone who prefers taking detailed notes rather than just jotting down a few pointers. My goal was to create comprehensive notes that I could not only use for revision but also keep as a future reference even after completing the certification. So, for the first 3 months, my focus was on completing all the classes for the 5 domains. On weekdays, I studied for about 2 to 3 hours each day, while on weekends, I dedicated 5 to 6 hours. And there were few days where I couldn't study due to work or personal commitments, but I always made sure to get back on track the very next day, because I also believe maintaining consistency is crucial in CISA preparation. Because if you break the flow, it's easy to start forgetting the concepts and lose momentum.
all right. So, so you were devoting your time like during the morning hours, right? And this was your schedule during the weekdays, right?
Yes.
And how much time like you devoted for revision? Because once everything gets over, you know, the biggest hurdle which I believe, because I see this, very often, that you have done everything. There are a lot of things to revise. The like domains are huge. Domain number 5 is huge, domain number 4 is huge. There are a lot of things. And what I feel is that, again, you could be having your own opinions here, that it's not just revising the concepts, but it's also equally important to revise the Q and A's, to understand how, like, whatever I have learned, how that fits into this, the Q and A format. And it's again, like, when I have given my strategy video in our lecture, I have spoken this thing, that concept is different altogether, application of concept is different. Because I have seen that people, even after having 2 decades or 3 decades of experience here, they know everything. When it comes to knowing the concepts, they are the experts. They are the people who can guide anyone. But when it comes to solving the question answers, that's the area where they make mistakes. That's the area, because it's here, when it comes to solving the Q and A's, here it's not just solving the Q and A's. Here it's more like, how well are you able to read a question, how well you are able to understand what exactly is the intention of the question drafter, like, whoever has drafted this question, like, what was their focus. So all these small things, all these things becomes important, which was not important when you were studying a concept. When you were learning things, it was altogether different mindset. Now when you're solving a question answers, altogether it's different mindset. Now concept is also huge, but at the same point of time, even the practice questions are also huge. So what was your revision strategy, and like, how much time you devoted for revision, and what will be your recommendation to people, especially with regards to revising the entire syllabus?
So my revision plan was once I completed all the classes, I started my first round of revision, which took about a month. During this phase, I went through my detailed notes for each domain. I have not touched the ISACA manual at all. I tried looking it out for 2 to 3 times, but I felt it was very dense and I couldn't understand much, so I did not consider that manual. And I revised each domain twice before moving on to the practice questions. After the revisions, I started solving questions from the QA, carefully tracking my scores and progress. So this helped me identify the weak areas and also strengthen my understanding of each domain. After finishing my initial revision and QA practice, I moved on to unit tests and mock exams provided in the course. After every mock test, I reviewed my mistakes thoroughly and I made notes on tricky questions and misunderstood concepts. In total, I have gone through all 9 mock exams. Alongside the mocks, I also worked through the Blockbuster series, which had about 85 to 86 videos. Initially, I thought that I could uh, ignore the Blockbuster series, but later, when I watched 1 or 2 videos, I thought that I should definitely complete all these videos because they were the game changer. These videos provided excellent insights into how to understand the questions and arrive at the correct answers. And also, there used to be questions which were sounding similar, 2 to 3 questions, but each question had different answers. So, understanding all those things were only possible by watching the Blockbuster series. And also, while working on the mocks and Blockbuster series, I also created some additional notes. These included tricky questions, extra concepts explained, and the key points that I needed to remember. So, this helped me build a refined set of notes for last minute revision. And apart from this, I also considered the interview sessions that you took of the other members that who took this course. So I gathered few important points from their revision as well, and I inculcated them in my revision part.
I really liked the way you have mentioned that you have also noted down, because there are so many things to learn, there are so many things to remember, and you noted down things in your own uh, handwriting, and you made your own book. So like, did you made all these important points for not just the concept, but also for the Q&A tricky points, everything, and like and you used to use those use that material for revision also?
Yes, it might sound too much, but
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's the reason of asking me. I mean, again, that's something which I also advise, but it does take a lot of efforts. It is not something which is very easy to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so I completed three complete books for the videos. And apart from those three books, I prepared one whole book for the blockbuster series, mock tests, QAs, and the additional concepts that I mentioned. So these four books were all I referred during my revision because I don't like watching content on laptop or going through huge notes again and again. I always had this practice since my childhood, so I continue that. So yeah, so I only relied on my notes that I took from your videos, blockbuster series, mock tests, QAs, etc.
Yeah, and I also feel that when you are noting down these points, it's like a revision which you're doing. I mean, I won't say revision, but the thing is that your retention increases. When you note down things which you're watching, because again, it's not a movie, right? Because the way we watch a movie, and I always give example of movie, because when you watch a movie, you're not watching a movie to remember things. You are
Yes.
watching a movie to enjoy. But when it comes to learning things, either you can watch it as a movie, but if you are watching it as a movie, you'll have to watch the same lecture maybe twice or three times or four times, or you can just watch it once and note down your important points. If you do that, it's difficult, I understand. 1 hour lecture might take 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe more than that, but it's just one time effort. The moment you finish it, you will realize there's a huge difference between how you could have just finished watching the lecture, and now after doing all these things, taking down these important points, things are retained for a very long term in your
Yeah.
memory. And this is how the brain also works. There's no this is the reason why we were asked in our school days also to take down these notes, because this is how the brain works. This is how you retain important things for long term. Yeah, and we are really glad, and thank you very much for sharing your entire journey with us. Any last piece of advice you would like to give to the future CISA aspirants of watching your journey?
So one piece of advice I would like to give to the ones that are going to take the certification is to be consistent. So whenever I lost touch for 2 or 3 days, I felt like I'm forgetting the concepts, or the hard work that I put in until that day was waste of my time. Because if I don't remember, if I don't continue my preparation, then I will lose touch in the concepts, and to again spend a lot of time to rebuild those concepts again and again, and taking notes. I also remember that you keep stressing this point in your lectures as well. So, to take notes and have it for your reference. So, I mean, you can go back to the videos and watch them at 2x speed whenever you require, whenever you want. But in my case, I thought it took a lot of time to rewatch the whole videos again and again. And coming to domain 5, I also remember one of your students telling that domain 5 is not just domain 5, it's also like domain 6. So in that kind of domains, if you have a notes ready, you can easily refer to it instead of listening to the videos again and again. And also I just recommend them to stick to your course. That is more than enough. Instead of referring to huge manuals and other books, it's enough to refer your course and complete everything that is provided in your course, like the videos, blockbuster series, MCQs. Yeah, so that is what I would like to advise.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And yes, I do agree with all your points. And I also say that it's equally your efforts. The way you have mentioned that I have made 3 books, 4 books. It sounds very very easy. Okay, anybody can make 3 books, but to write 3 books, let's say one book is
Yeah.
150 pages. 3 books, 4 books, it means you have written down your own manual.
Yeah.
So you are yourself a author of CISA manual, which is written by you. So that requires a lot of efforts, that requires a lot of hard work, and that requires a lot of trust, because you are kind of trusting the entire process, that someday, like, I'm doing this, but this will help me towards the end. Because people are not able to even trust this process. Like, why to even take down the notes? I can save my time, and I can utilize this time maybe somewhere else, and maybe this is not required, or maybe there's some shortcuts to clear this exam. But as I always say that I have never seen anybody failing in this exam if that person has gone through the entire process, what is required from their end. uh, People, for any reason, I have seen, like, they are not able to clear only for the reasons is because maybe they didn't have enough time for the preparation, they were lacking in terms of revision, they had a very strict deadline from the office, and accordingly they were doing their studies, or just focusing on only on studying on weekends. And the way you have told, you have mentioned that it's important to be to stick to your studies on a consistent basis, otherwise it's very easy to forget. Like, it's difficult to learn, but it's very easy to forget whatever we have learned. And especially this exam, because here it's not just about knowing the concept, here it's also about knowing 3 to 4 points. Like when we discuss the MCQ blockbuster, for a single question there are 4 to 5 reasons. Okay, sometimes we just discuss 1 or 2 reasons. There are times when a single question might require 3 to 4 logical background, or what to say, we call it as the right mindset, the reasoning behind which you have chosen a particular option. And those 3 to 4 logic is something that you will be able to understand only through practice. There is no shortcuts for it. And kudos to your efforts and your hard work, and wishing you all the best for the future. Thank you very much for sharing your entire journey with us, and I hope that everyone will gain a lot from this interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.